But when you look at him and you say the president said Baghdadi was the JV squad putting on Kobe Bryant, Jersey, does he not recognize what Krautheimer said last week, that the president is strategically clueless on this show, or Vice President Cheney? Do they not get that the president should not be at Martha's Vineyard right now?
Well, we had Dana Milbank on, who again, not the most right-wing columnist for the Washington Post, but Dana said it's one thing for presidents to go on vacation. We're all big supporters of presidents going on vacation. It's another thing to be in Martha's Vineyard while you've got tanks rolling in Middle America and while the Middle East melts down. This is a president that does go out of his way to show that he's not paying attention to what anybody says. He's going to do exactly what he wants to do, and he's going to be stubborn about it. He's either politically tone deaf or he just doesn't give a damn. And I tend to believe, based on everything I've heard from people who work inside the White House, and we've got a lot of friends there, and based on my friends who are senior Democratic senators, this president has checked out.
He is.
To be I hear it time and time again from his close political allies. This man wants to be an ex-president. He doesn't want to be there anymore.
He wants to get to his Carter Center phase, but he's got 2.5 years. I also wonder, Joe, you know how important staff is, whether it's a congressional office or all the way up to the staff that you don't see on the set of Morning Joe. Mm-hmm. He's down to Valerie Jarrett. Everyone else is gone. And his national security team looks like they'd be about 16 to 18 years old. What do you think, that people won't work for him, or is he simply refusing to ask people of stature and competence to come and work for him?
The Obama administration and Valerie, I've got to say I'm good friends with Valerie too, but Valerie and a lot of people around the White House said early on, we don't want to make new friends. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that any president can make. I think George W. Bush, in large part, made a lot of mistakes because he was insulated. He had a lot of yellies around him, and he didn't want outsiders around him. I always looked to Ronald Reagan, who had James Baker trying to beat him in 1980. The second he beat George H.W. Bush, the first thing he did was hire James Baker and had James Baker run his campaigns. And he had James Baker run his White House because he wasn't afraid to have people around him that weren't inside his bubble. This president wants yes men around him. And again, I hear that from my Democratic friends. I hear that from his own former chiefs of staff. If anybody steps out of line, they're immediately insulated and pushed out. I said this on set after the cameras were turned off to a couple of people who I knew wouldn't say it on the air. I said, guys, you know as well as I do that the second this administration is over, the books are going to come from former secretaries of state. The books are going to come from former chiefs of staff. The books are going to come, and this president is going to have to deal with 20 to 30 years of disparagement from his own side, calling him one of the least effective presidents because he's one of the most insulated.